Rain blurred the skyline of Beijing into streaks of silver and smoke. Inside the Economic Crime Division, the hum of computers was broken only by the low mutter of detectives scanning through data. Most nights were ordinary, filled with tax fraud and counterfeit cases. But tonight was different. The young analyst froze mid-scroll, his eyes widening as a familiar name flashed across the screen, again and again. "Captain Zhao," he called softly. "You need to see this." The captain leaned over the monitor. The registry showed 32 active companies, all with different addresses, different business scopes, and different dates of establishment. But each of them shared one identical legal representative, Menglong. For a moment, nobody spoke. It was as if the air itself had thickened. The name carried too much weight, too much history. Menglong, the actor, the idol. The man whose mysterious death a year earlier had broken the nation's heart. Officially it had been ruled a suicide. The investigation was closed within days. But seeing his name appear across corporate filings worth hundreds of millions of yuan made that explanation crumble. Captain Zhao scrolled deeper. Each company was neatly registered, tax compliant on paper, and tied to bank accounts that moved staggering amounts of money through Hong Kong and Macau. On the surface they sold film rights, cosmetics, real estate consulting. But none of them had offices. None had employees. They existed only as code and paper. Identity theft, someone suggested. Zhao shook his head. Identity manipulation on this scale would need government clearance. Whoever did this wasn't stealing a name. They were using it. He sent an encrypted request to the Public Security Bureau for Menglong's digital ID history. When the file arrived, it showed multiple logins to national business systems dated months after his supposed death. Each access carried a verified biometric signature. The system believed Menglong was alive. Zhao felt a chill crawl down his spine. The last time he had seen a case like this, it had ended in scandal, with careers erased and files deleted. He ordered his team to keep silent and dig quietly. Days later, a second discovery shattered what little normalcy remained. Hidden inside the government database was a sealed folder labeled Project Menglong. Access required double authorization. Zhao hesitated, then used an old override code from his training years. The screen flickered, then opened. The folder contained a series of internal memos from the Cultural Affairs Bureau, dated weeks before Menglong's death. The subject line read, "Do not pursue further." Directive, below it, a line typed in red, "This instruction supersedes all legal protocols." No signature. No seal. Alongside the memo were two versions of the same autopsy report. One cited asphyxiation by hanging. The other listed cranial trauma due to blunt force. Bore the same digital signature from the same coroner. One truth had been replaced by another. Zhao printed the files, his hands trembling. Somewhere between the entertainment industry and the police system, an invisible order had twisted reality. He needed help. Someone outside official channels. That was when Officer Lin entered the story. Had worked night shifts in the evidence division for years. The kind of man who noticed things others missed. He was quiet, meticulous, and stubbornly loyal to the idea of justice. Zhao trusted him. Within hours, Lin was tracing the flow of money from the 30 shell companies. What he found turned suspicion into certainty. Every payment led to a parent entity registered as Y Consortium Limited. The signature on the founding document was Menglong's. The registration date was 6 months after the funeral. Lin cross-checked it with the entertainment archives, the same ID, same address, same national code. Somewhere, someone was still signing his name. Late that night, Lin stayed alone in the archive room, the hum of servers filling the silence. He opened an old case folder on Menglong's death, one the department had quietly buried. Photographs of the actor's apartment showed overturned furniture and a shattered mirror. In one corner lay a digital recorder labeled audio number 1105. No one had ever transcribed it. Lin plugged in his headphones and pressed play. A trembling voice spoke through static. "They said if I don't sign, the project dies. But it's my name on the papers, not theirs. I don't want this anymore. I'm tired of being quiet." A faint click followed. Then a man's whisper, "Time's up, Mr. Yu." The recording ended with a dull thud. Lin sat frozen. It wasn't a suicide. It was a warning. He copied the recording onto a USB drive and labeled it Forbidden Files. The next day, he found his login credentials revoked. An internal memo declared him under review for protocol breach. That afternoon, a message arrived on his personal phone. Stop digging, Officer Lin. The dead should stay silent. Fear pressed down on him, but so did duty. He packed the evidence, the memo, the autopsy reports, the company registry, and slipped them into an envelope. That evening, he met Captain Zhao in the parking lot. "We're being watched," Zhao said quietly. "I can't protect you anymore." "I'm not asking for protection," Lin replied. "Just time." That night, Lin left Beijing for Shanghai, following the paper trail of Y Consortium. Dress led to a luxury office tower overlooking the Bund. Name plate on the 23rd floor read Phoenix Entertainment Holdings, Menglong's former management company. Through the glass doors he saw executives in suits, laughing. Champagne flutes glinting under chandeliers. Wall hung a framed portrait of Menglong, smiling. Beneath it, a plaque read "In memory of our brightest star." Lin's jaw tightened. He knew what that smile concealed now, a mask over an empire built on his name. He tailed one of the company's accountants, a young woman who seemed nervous, always glancing over her shoulder. One evening he confronted her outside a cafe. She hesitated, then whispered, "You shouldn't be here. They're watching everyone connected to him." "Who are they?" he asked. She looked down. "Mr. Why?" Before he could press further, a black sedan pulled up. Two men stepped out. The woman turned pale, slipped a folded note into Lin's hand, and walked away without looking back. The sedan followed her into the rain. Inside the note were coordinates and a single line: "He left everything in the system. Find the hidden balance." The next night Lin broke into a satellite office listed under one of the shell companies, Blue Dream Holdings. Inside, the computers were wiped, desks empty, lights unplugged. But a forgotten server hummed faintly in the corner. He accessed it. Rows of transactions appeared, connecting Blue Dream to dozens of other firms under the Y Consortium network. Each trail ended in offshore accounts, through digital wallets registered under Menglong's identity. The sum total exceeded 400 million yuan. It was more than fraud. It was resurrection through numbers, a dead man turned into a financial ghost. Lin copied everything, zipped the folder, prepared to send it. But just before he left, he saw reflection in the glass door, a man standing behind him. "Sir Lin," a calm voice said. "You've seen too much." He turned, but the man was already gone, leaving only the echo of footsteps fading down the corridor. That night, he wrote a final message to a journalist he had once helped years ago, Li Wei, the fearless reporter who had exposed corruption cases others were too afraid to touch. "I have something you need to see. About Menglong. Meet me at the old train station. Midnight. Bring no one." When he hit send, the clock struck 11. Rain began to fall again, steady and unrelenting. He looked at the city lights and whispered to the absent star whose name haunted every file he opened, "Forgive me, you. I won't let them bury you twice." Outside, thunder rolled across the rooftops, echoing like footsteps of something vast and unseen. The envelope marked "Forbidden Files" rested in his coat pocket, pulsing with the weight of everything he was about to unleash. Somewhere in the maze of servers and corporations, Menglong continued to sign documents, approve transfers, and build an empire on the bones of its owner. He walked into the rain, toward the station, toward the truth that might destroy him. The old train station stood like a monument to forgotten years, its clock frozen at 11:47, the same time on Menglong's broken wristwatch the night he died. The rusted roof. Officer Lin waited, his coat soaked, the envelope in his hand. Midnight came, and through the mist appeared a figure in a dark coat, moving fast but cautiously. "Wei," he whispered. She lowered her mask. "You shouldn't have come in person." "I don't trust signals anymore," Lin replied. He handed her the envelope. Inside was the USB drive, labeled "Forbidden Files," and the accounting note from Blue Dream Holdings. "If anything happens to me, make sure this gets out. The world needs to know what they did." Before she could answer, it flickered in the distance, the sharp glare of headlights sweeping across the station. "Go," he urged. "Now." Wei nodded and vanished into the darkness, the USB drive clutched tight in her palm. By morning, the sky over Beijing was gray with pollution and tension. Li Wei locked herself in a small apartment above an old bookshop and began decoding the files. For hours she watched names, transactions, dresses unfold before her eyes, 32 shell companies all tied to one man who was supposed to be dead. The deeper she dug, the more horrifying it became. Internal emails between Phoenix Entertainment executives referenced Option B, a contingency plan in case M refuses renewal. The initial used for Menglong. Another memo from the Cultural Affairs Bureau instructed public narrative to remain consistent. Suicide due to overwork. Have directives. She found a recording marked meeting audio 0417 WAV. A man's voice. Common official, spoke first. We can't afford another scandal. Use his name. Keep production alive. A second voice responded. One she recognized instantly from the leaked police transcripts, Chief Han. And if the officer continues digging, will be handled. Li Wei stopped the playback. Her pulse was pounding. They killed him to save their empire, she whispered. When she opened the final folder, she froze. There it was, a complete organizational chart of Y Consortium Limited. The phantom conglomerate controlling every fake company. Top of the hierarchy, Yu Menglong's digital signature. Beneath it, a single administrative contact, Y Zhou. Known in industry circles as Mr. Y. A powerful financier and former executive producer for Phoenix Entertainment. He was the hidden tycoon, the man who had turned a dead celebrity into the perfect mask for money laundering. Li Wei uploaded the evidence to an encrypted server. She wrote the article that would change everything. The Forbidden Empire, inside the secret network built on Yu Menglong's name. It went live at 7:43 a.m. within an hour. It had 1 million views. By noon, Chinese internet was on fire. Fans demanded justice. Journalists whispered about censorship. Influencers reposted screenshots of the documents before they were deleted. The hashtag Justice for Yu Menglong trended in 20 countries. Phoenix Entertainment denied everything. These are malicious fabrications, their spokesperson declared. But the data was undeniable. The companies were real. The bank accounts were real. And now, the truth was out. That evening, a 19-second video clip appeared online. It showed Yu Menglong pacing in a dimly lit room. Face pale, his voice shaking. Please, stop filming, he said. A man's silhouette entered frame, whispering something inaudible before the video cut to black. It was the missing footage Lin had mentioned, the 7 minutes erased from the official archive. The internet exploded. Within 2 hours, had been shared 20 million times before being scrubbed from every major platform. But it was too late. Once truth escapes, it cannot be erased. She barely slept at night. When she woke, her article was gone. Her account suspended. Her phone filled with unknown messages. Delete everything. Worth your life. At noon, state television aired a breaking bulletin. Officer Lin is under arrest for leaking classified materials and spreading false information. The so-called forbidden files are under investigation. His photograph flashed on the screen. He looked exhausted but calm. Eyes steady as if he had already accepted what was coming. In an underground forum hours later, a post appeared from an anonymous account believed to be Li Wei's. They caught him. But the files are everywhere now. Share them. The floodgates opened. Users across the world downloaded and re-uploaded the forbidden files on decentralized networks. Within days, the entire archive, from forged autopsies to Y Consortium's ledgers, was permanently mirrored online. The government responded with silence. Fragile kind of denial. But silence only amplifies what it tries to bury. 2 days later, a foreign news outlet released an interview with a whistleblower inside the Ministry of Finance. The man, voice distorted, revealed that Yu Menglong's digital identity had been kept active intentionally, a ghost profile used by multiple entertainment conglomerates to bypass tax regulations and transfer illicit funds overseas. The total sum exceeded 1 billion yuan. National headlines followed. Chinese police leak exposes entertainment money laundering network. 30 shell companies found under dead actor's name. Whistleblower claims state-level cover-up. Chaos, Lin vanished. The police said he had been transferred for internal review. No one ever saw him again. Li Wei fled Beijing and resurfaced weeks later under a different name. From an undisclosed location. Released a final cache of documents, transcripts, photos, and the original recording of Yu Menglong's voice. The audio ended with the same haunting words. I just wanted to live as myself. The world listened in silence. Months passed. Phoenix Entertainment collapsed under public pressure. Executives were detained. R.Y. disappeared. Rumored to have fled the country. The Ministry of Culture issued a carefully worded statement promising regulatory reform. But for most people, it wasn't reform they wanted, it was truth. On the anniversary of Menglong's death, his parents stood outside a memorial hall filled with flowers and photographs. Reporters waited, cameras flashing. His mother's voice broke as she spoke. They used my son's name to build their empire. But he was more than a name. He was light. They tried to sell that light to the darkness. She held up a small envelope, Lin's last letter, delivered anonymously weeks before. Inside was a simple note in his handwriting: if justice sleeps, wake it with your voice. Her eyes glistened with tears. He gave his life for the truth, she said softly. It belongs to all of us. The crowd broke into applause, then into chants. Justice for you. Justice for Lin. Across the city, posters of Menglong began to reappear, not as advertisements, but as symbols. On social media, his image was shared alongside Officer Lin's, under the caption, 2 men, 1 truth. In time, the story became legend, the forbidden empire taught in journalism classes, quoted in documentaries, read about in online forums that refused to forget. Knew where Li Wei went. Some said she lived quietly abroad. Others believed she was still in China, hidden behind another name. But on the anniversary of the article's publication, a new post appeared on the same encrypted blog that had once hosted her investigation. The message was short. No photo. No signature, only words. The empire fell, but the ghosts remain. Truth is not a threat. It is a mirror. And someday, those who look away will have to see. Below the post was a video still from a temple in the mountains. A monk lifted a floor tile and revealed a small box. Inside lay a badge, Lin's badge, and a folded paper. On it, written in black ink, truth is never forbidden. The video faded to black. The rain began again, washing the dust from the streets of a city that had tried too long to stay clean. Somewhere, perhaps in another hidden archive, Menglong's name still appeared in forgotten files, a ghost woven into data. But now, people whispered it not as a rumor, scandal, but as a symbol of courage. Because one man had dared to ask why, another had dared to speak, and the world had dared, at last, to listen.